We're just under a month from opening day 2026, and excitement around the Pittsburgh Pirates is at an all-time high. There's a lot of reasons for that. New players, the front office spent some money this offseason. Don Kelly is not only a likable head coach, but he's brought in a staff that you just love because they're all hilarious and they're all good at their job and they all have pedigree. And there's other reasons as well. I mean, Paul Skeens, reigning Cy Young winner, looking like he's in peak form once again. But the biggest reason, from everything I've seen online, from everything I've heard when I talk to people about this year's team, the biggest reason for excitement, as of right now, is Konnor Griffin. And the question remains, will he make the roster? At this point in time, it's anybody's guess because there is still, like I said, about a month to go until that decision ends up being made. And I think that the decision has not been made yet. I think it's a matter of what happens between now and then. So it could go either way. Whether he will or not is anybody's guess. But to me, both arguments make some sense. If you want to send him down to AAA, it's not the worst idea in the world. The kid has never played higher than AA for an extended period of time. And even in AA, he's only played in 21 games. So I understand why the Pirates might want to send him to AAA to let him get a little bit more seasoning in the first month of the year and then bring him up. It is a logical idea. But there's also good reasons to say, you know what, he looks like he's ready, and why not just let him go, right? He is 19. But I think anybody that watches him, that watches his approach at the plate, that watches the way that he plays shortstop, he's advanced beyond his years. Not just in his play, but in his maturity off the field. You hear this kid talk, he doesn't talk like a 19-year-old. I mean, he's married already, for Christ's sake. Not only that, but he has been killing it in spring training again. There's nothing in his game right now that tells you that he's not ready, right? He should have had a two-hit game in his spring debut. He hit what would have been a home run in all 30 MLB ballparks, just not in spring training whenever the wind's whipping the way it was at the Phillies spring training home. And then he did beat out an infield single, but was called out and there was no review of the play. So he should have had a two-hit game there. He did have a 2-home run game in Boston that caught everybody's attention. And the biggest thing about that wasn't the fact that, well, he hit 2 home runs, wasn't the fact that, well, he hit over 800 total feet of home runs in those 2 swings. To me, it was the fact that his first home run was off of Ranger Suarez, who is not just an MLB pitcher, but he's an MLB pitcher that just made bank on his new team and is probably trying to show what he's made of in his spring debut. It's not like he was laying him in there just to get through the outing and warm up a little bit. It looked to me in that at-bat that Ranger Suarez was trying to have a regular season type at-bat with Konnor Griffin, and Konnor Griffin beat him, and he took him long. Not only that, Konnor Griffin's fielding is already above average at shortstop. He won a minor league Gold Glove last year, and let's not zero in on Konnor Griffin and forget that having an above average shortstop is something this team might need, considering the team defense took a massive hit in the offseason. So like I said, both arguments make sense. If they bring him up, yeah, it probably makes some sense because everything he's doing and everything he's saying feels like a guy who's ready for the MLB. Yeah, it would also make sense to send him down if they choose to do that because he is 19. And it would be a lot to put on a 19-year-old's plate to say, hey, here's a 162-game slate of MLB matchups that you've never faced before. Go do it. It makes sense to say, hey, maybe for like a month, let's see you at AAA. And if it goes how we all expect it to go, then we'll bring you up in the late stages of April. So while both make sense, to me, the determining factor that tells me that this guy is already a superstar, that he probably would be fine without going to Indianapolis, is the way that he is already elevating others simply with his presence. That's the sign of a true superstar. Anybody can be really good in their own right. Anybody can just elevate their own game. But if their presence, their game elevates others, that's when you have a game changer in your organization. We've seen it with Paul Skeens. His emergence has been followed by the emergence of guys like Jared Jones, despite the fact that Jones debuted before Paul Skeens. It's led to the emergence of guys like Bubba Chandler, of guys like Mike Burrows last year, of a guy like Braxton Ashcraft last year. I think we'll see Hunter Barco follow in those footsteps this year. I think you're already starting to see that with Konnor Griffin. Look at Termarr Johnson last season. After the call-up of Konnor Griffin to Double-A Altoona, Termarr Johnson hit .286 and was one of the better players for that team as they absolutely ran roughshod through the second half of the season and clinched a playoff spot. Now you look ahead to this spring, Termarr Johnson's continuing to elevate his game. This spring, he's 4 for 8. He has a double and he has a triple, and he's playing pretty good all around the diamond. He's playing some third base. He's playing some second base. He's elevating his game, and a big reason for that is he wants to match what Konnor Griffin is bringing to the table. It's competitive. It's within these guys that whenever you see somebody that good, that young, start to shoot through the ranks, you want to be able to keep up. You want to be able to prove, hey, I'm right there with him. I am right there with him. We've seen that with Termarr Johnson. And now we're seeing it from a guy that's been at the MLB level for longer than both Termarr and Konnor combined, which is not hard considering they have 0 combined games. Not sure why I said that. But Nick Gonzales, has elevated his game so far in spring training. 7 for 11, which is a .636 batting average. He's played at second base. He's played at shortstop. I wouldn't be surprised to see him play a little bit of third base at some point this season. He has a double. He has 2 RBIs, and it just looks like he's a different player. Now, he was already one of the Pirates' better hitters last year, which is not saying all that much considering the Pirates had one of the worst offenses in the MLB, but he had a decent season. Was it up to the standards of what I think he expected of himself? No. But you're starting to see that this spring. Why? Because as of right now, the depth chart is Nick Gonzales at first slot on shortstop, Konnor Griffin right behind him. He's being pushed simply by Konnor Griffin's presence. And that's what tells me, and whenever the results come and the results follow, that's what tells me Konnor Griffin is a superstar. He's helping to elevate Nick Gonzales. He's helping to elevate Termarr Johnson. And it's not to give all the credit to Konnor Griffin. Those guys deserve the credit for being able to get their game in the right spot as well. But when you look at the way that they've elevated, it coincides with Konnor Griffin's ascension as well. And I think that's when you know what you have in this 19-year-old. At some point this year, Konnor Griffin will be a Pirate. That much is certain. The more he plays this spring, though, the more evident it's going to be to everyone that he should be there on March 26th. I'm excited to see it, and the more we get to watch, the more excited you should get, especially as players like Termarr Johnson and Nick Gonzales and Jared Triolo continue to ascend right alongside Konnor Griffin, because a rising tide lifts all boats, and to me, Konnor Griffin is that tide. But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this one. Remember, if you enjoy this content, to like, share, subscribe to my channel for more Pirates, Penguins, Steelers, and pro wrestling content every single week. But that's it for this one. We'll see you guys next time.